Okay, so here's my Indy. Sorry for the blurriness. I'm going to cast his head and make it into silicone, a whole different cast. Here I covered up his hair. This is the first coat of the Rebound 25. And here's the shell to support the silicone. And here's a peeling of the silicone there. We have the silicone part of it and the mold, the shell part that will hold it together. And in here I would fill it up with solid resin. And here's the finished product, which is not complete. I need to smooth them out. And we're smoothing them out here. Sorry I didn't videotape this. It wasn't my plan, but I decided to finish it up later on, so you'll see the rest. Here's the I'm going to smooth out the head, making them nice and bald and smooth. This is ready to go to add the silicone. And here I did the silicone, and I added first. This is the first coat of it. I went ahead and did the whole thing in one piece, and I'll explain in a bit why I did that as opposed to dividing it. This is what I used, Rebound 25, as you've seen in my other videos, and it's a two-part silicone, and it's brushable. Very cool stuff. Now, as you've seen in the other videos, or other videos that people have, you can you divide the piece that you're about to mold right down the middle, down to where you will be making, for example, the first part of the mold, same as in the other side. And normally you would have it like a clay wall, and add the silicone on there, make the first part, and then you do the same thing with the back part, and then you do the shell, and you will have your two-piece mold. The problem there, you'd have a seam line coming down the neck there. Top, no big deal, the hair would cover that, but then you have to worry about cleaning up the seam line in the ear and down the neck, and I actually didn't want to deal with that unless you're a super expert to clean them up and make them look awesome. Yeah, go for it, but that's just too much of a deal. But this way, I just cut through the back of the head. The hair would cover the back seam instead of worrying to this side here. So that's the way I went ahead and did that. Here we have part A and part B of the 25 Rebound 25, excuse me. And just get a brush and start brushing them on. I recommend cheapo brushes. This one, it's kind of cheap, maybe $2–3 brush. But you don't want them too cheap, because then you're gonna have all these little bristles sometimes come apart, and you don't want that on your mold. So this is the second coat, and you want to get everywhere. As you see right now, they have some air bubbles there, but once it dries, that's no problem. Those kind of tend to disappear. You notice there's two colors. The first one, I added some tint on there, so that way I know I wouldn't miss any part once I added the second coat. And then I add a different color for the third coat. As you can see, the silicone has settled, and most air bubbles are gone. And it stays, kind of, gives you some good time to work with. Here's the final one. This is about 4 coats of the silicone there, and over there we're going to do the shell. As in my other ones, you can do the shell, divide it in half, and do the first part and then the back. I have done plaster bandages, as you've seen in the past, but this time I'm going to use something different, which is really cool, which is Plasti Paste Part 2, and it's from Smooth On, and it's also a Part A and a Part B, and you use 2 parts of Part B and 1 part of Part A. And here we have it. We got the 2 parts in there already. Add the liquid, and you mix it up very well. Now this is very cool stuff, because you don't have to deal with the plaster bandages. Once it's done, I just pour it on top of the head. And this is good for, you know, these pieces here. They're small, so it's easy to just spread like if it was going to be, you know, just icing on the cake. You don't want to leave it too thick, but you don't want to go too thin either. So you just spread it around all over the piece. Now you're probably wondering, how am I going to take this off? Because once it's dry, well, there's no way you can take that mold out of there. But this is what I decided to do. Instead of doing a two-piece mold and then the other half and then the other half, well, once it's there, once you're done, you just get a little tool, and you don't let it dry. You do it immediately once you finish what you like, and then you just cut the line where you want to separate the mold. So actually, I'm actually going all the way down to the silicone part of it. If there are certain parts that you know, weren't completely separate, when you do it, you can just get a little saw and just cut the areas, but or a Dremel. But this works out very well. As you can see, it's still you know, very wet. So here I'm just separating it, but you don't want it too far apart either. You want to get as close as possible so it to hold the shape of the silicone. Once it's dry, then you just want to pry it open. Now, in certain areas that may be stuck because I didn't open it enough there, so you just, you know, kind of move your scissors there or whatever you want to use. Sometimes it needs some elbow grease there. They're pretty good, but it works great. There we go. So once that's done, then you just you know, put them together, get the silicone, the other guy out of there. Just cutting around the area there. I don't want all that stuff hanging, all that overlap. And here I'm just cutting the line in the back of the head, from top of the head down to the neck. And you just take them apart. Take the outside mold there. That was a solid silicone, the solid resin piece that I did. There we go. So now we want to make a silicone mold of the head. Reason for this is because you can punch in the hair, add some glass eyes. It's going to be awesome. So you just put them back together. Well, actually, before that, I'll show you here that before I did that, I needed to spray in some release. So this is universal mold release, and that's so the silicone I pour in there does not stick to the silicone, or else your mold is history. So you want to make sure you spray it very well, because you don't want the silicone to stick to it, or it's ruined. So you want to get every little crevice as possible, especially in the ear area. So that's why I'm opening it up and just spraying very well in there. Mixing up Platzo Gel number 10, part A and part B. Same stuff I've been using for everything and for prosthetics. Added the silk pigment, which gives the silicone the flesh tone or any other color. Now in this particular one, I think I added a little bit too much, so it wasn't as translucent as I wanted it to be. So I will be doing another one so it makes it more translucent. Mix it up and just you know, out here I'm making sure it gets in all the little crevices of the ear area, because if I were to just pour it in the mold, it may not get any there, and you may end up with some air bubbles, which actually I ended up with a little bit, not there in the ears, but towards the back of the neck and under the chin I got an air bubble, but I'll be redoing this. But this is a good process. Here it is. It's completely done now. Silicone is dry. Take off the shell and peel them out, and now you have a solid silicone bust. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys.